This is not going to be in your way today. It's not Jenny's way. There was a plug with it.
It's right over there. It's just
Okay, it's for the concert today.
I have to add a few more corns. You go. This is good.
I didn't know who you were.
Mysterious, right?
You look good.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Desiree, and I'm your lay worship leader for today's service. I warmly welcome you all to First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church in Bridgewater. I've been a member here for about 3 years, but I've been coming for over 8. I currently serve as president of the parish committee, and I'm also part of Tone Chimes and choir. And what I love about First Parish, I say this every time, is the people. You guys make this place feel like home. You make me want to come here every Sunday. Everyone is so sweet and so kind. You guys just make this a great place to be. Before we begin our time of worship, we have some announcements. Jenny has a first announcement.
Good morning and thank you on behalf of the stewardship team. I just harvested some more crops up there. We've got the tomatoes, the carrots, and the corn cashing in at $59,000-ish right now. So thank you. Please keep those green envelopes coming. You can mail it. You can give it to us personally on Sundays. But just we need to know kind of in person so we can do the maths. Okay? Thank you so much. I'm off to Family Chapel. Bye.
Rosemary have an announcement about the organ. Did you want to thank everyone for the organ? Just because, yeah.
Denise is going to come up now and share a little bit about our organ event, but I'd like to thank Denise for being so flexible and welcoming our guest organist, Justin, on Friday. We just had a great turnout, and Denise just makes our music program so wonderful.
So if you were here Friday night, you were treated to a real treat. It's been years since we had a professional organist play this organ. You do get a hack like me every Sunday, but we had Justin Murphy Mancini, who is a professional organist and an organ professor in a college. But lots of people came together to make this happen. If you're on Facebook, you know a lot more about Ian G.G. Hook than you ever thought you wanted to know from Diane Rose's advertising. We have Betty, Pat, Janet, and others to thank for getting the reception ready. David did the sound, Lori did the Zoom, Rosemary did the introduction, so lots of people came together to make this work, and it was just wonderful. So if you were here, thank you for coming, because without an audience, it would not have been fun for Justin.
Thank you. Also today at 3 o'clock here in the sanctuary is the Community Sing, hosted by the Social Justice Choir. So I hope you guys all come back at 3 for the Community Sing. And tickets are on sale for We Will Rock You, the First Parish Players production, April 11th through 13th in the Upper Parish Hall. Again, it's a fun musical. It's a post-apocalyptic world where music is banned and a group of bohemians are trying to bring rock and roll music back. It features the music of Queen. You can get tickets at our website, so firstparishplayers.com. Anyone else have any announcements they didn't tell me about? Okay. First Parish Bridgewater is a welcoming congregation. We proudly fly the rainbow flag to symbolize our welcome to people of all identities, ages, and backgrounds. If you're new to First Parish, we hope you enjoy your experience this morning. We encourage you to fill out the guest book at the table at the rear of the sanctuary, making sure to include your email address to receive church updates. For newcomers joining online, please see the sign-up link that will be posted in the chat. We invite all who are here in person to join us after the service for a time of fellowship in the Upper Parish Hall. The service is being hosted via Zoom. Hi, guys on Zoom. And is recorded for Bridgewater Cable TV and for YouTube. You can find the link to the YouTube video in the weekly bridging. The recording is turned off to protect your privacy during the sharing of joys and sorrows. In the event of an emergency or evacuation drill, please leave the building through the main sanctuary doors, which are behind you, or should you need a ramp through the School Street entrance, which is out this door on my left. You are welcome here. Thank you for joining us. Your presence makes a difference. And we will now begin our time of worship with the prelude. Would Rin come up and please light our chalice? And can everyone join me in reciting our chalice lighting words?
We light our chalice to mark this sacred hour as we gather in this beautiful historic sanctuary, both in body and in spirit. We connect to the many generations that have come here to explore the divine. Let us join our hearts and find our relief in our relationship to each other.
It is time
To share worship together.
And please join me in the affirmation of our covenant.
Please rise in body and spirit.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is the gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Rosemary Dodd, and it's my pleasure to serve this congregation as your minister. Today, our service is called Poetry Sunday, and if you read your newsletter, you are invited to bring a poem to read and share with the congregation. This way we will witness one another's favorite words and lift one another up. So, if you didn't bring one, you may look one up on your phone. I will not be offended if you look like you're texting. I promise. Part of this service was inspired by poetry about spring. And the poet Ada Limon is one of my favorite poets about spring particularly, and about hope. So for our opening words today, I want to share this poem she wrote called Instructions on Not Giving Up. More than the fuchsia funnels breaking out of the crabapple tree, more than the neighbor's almost obscene display of cherry limbs shoving their candy-colored blossoms to the slate sky of spring rains, it's the greening of the trees that really gets to me. When all the shock of white and taffy, the world's baubles and trinkets leave the pavement strewn with the confetti of aftermath, the leaves come. Patient, plodding, a green skin growing over whatever winter did to us. A return to the strange idea of continuous living despite the mess of us, the hurt, the empty. Fine then, I'll take it, the tree seems to say. A new slick leaf unfurling like a fist to an open palm. I'll take it all.
Now is the time in our service for the sharing of joys and sorrows, those matters of great personal significance that touch us, our families, and our loved ones. If you have a joy or sorrow, please come to the front and light a candle. If you would like to speak, please keep your sharing brief at this time so the ritual moves smoothly. You may also choose to light your candle in silence. Online participants are invited to share by typing your joys and sorrows into the chat, and someone in the sanctuary will read them out loud.
Let's join together in a spirit of prayer or meditation or contemplation or just some stillness if that's what works for you today. Our world is hurting. We are hurting. And it is heavy out there right now. We turn the news on and we turn it off again right away. Or we listen with fear and compassion and anger. Today I want to lift up hope, the spirit of hope, the spirit of life that surrounds us all with love. My prayer is that we may all be that spirit of life for one another. We may show up, reach out, and connect in the good times and the hard ones too. Tomorrow is Trans Day of Visibility, and I want to share this prayer written by Jade M. Kaiser, who's a Christian minister. They write, "In a world that so boringly, so violently, and so stubbornly insists on its stale and narrow gender rules and regulations, God themselves is in a state of constant transition. Though many try to tame their wild and make them into the image of power and fix them permanently into one static being, they are change in a world that loves control. They take our attempts at definitions and confuse them. They trouble our most basic assumptions about ourselves, the earth, and each other. God, unwilling to stick to a single form for our comfortable comprehension, incapable of making themselves so flat, their names are always changing. They are a multitude of incarnations. Our deliverer from the status quo, our liberator from the ordinary logics of power, our invitation to live into the abundance of possibilities within and around us. What a blessing every trans child birth to us. Precious glimpses, holy encounters, glorious invitations to recognize the image of God. The gifts of being and becoming so much more than what's placed on us. The possibilities for living without losing a part of ourselves. The desire to know and to be known, vulnerably, truthfully, entirely alive in all of us. Let's have a moment of silence and prayer. Blessed be. You can stay seated and we'll sing our contemplation hymn, The Lone Wild Bird.
Still
Each Sunday, we collect an offering to support the ministries of the church and the mission of a community organization that shares our faith values. This month's contributions to our collection plate are being shared with the Massachusetts Transgender Political Coalition. The Transgender Political Coalition is dedicated to ending discrimination based on gender identity and expression. To donate, write a check to First Parish with MTCP in the memo line. This morning's offering will now be given and gratefully received.
Thank you, Mark. A celebratory noise. Great. Oh, I have so many papers. Okay. Here are some things right now that are giving me hope. Laughter. Laughter with friends. Music in gathered community. And words. Words and poetry. Over the last few years, I've made a real goal to try to read more poetry. Mostly, this means I buy poetry books at used bookstores, at local bookstores, and I tuck them away on my bookshelf like little precious gifts waiting to be unwrapped. And then I keep waiting for what should be the right time to read them. I am really lucky that in this work, with you all, one of my practices is to page through poetry books regularly, especially right before I am due to give an opening reading at a committee meeting. Many of you have seen this happen. I wait for the poem to call out to me that it's the right one for this particular moment. Or maybe I'm just procrastinating. When read aloud in community, in sacred space, I find that most poems turn into prayers for me, making meaning of what is happening in our world and our lives, spelling out hopes, and sharing amazement with one another and the world. There's few poets I turn to more often than Joy Harjo, the former poet laureate of the United States. On the refrigerator in my apartment is the poem by Joy, Perhaps the World Ends Here. It's become a favorite over the last couple years. I didn't put it on the refrigerator. A friend who visited me and my roommate last fall quietly left a printout of the poem on our fridge when she left, as if to say, This is the kitchen table where our lives begin and end. The last line of the poem goes, Perhaps the world will end like this, at the kitchen table while we are laughing and crying, eating of the last sweet bite. Each time I read those words, I savor them. The last sweet bite. When we share the words that matter to us, we connect more deeply with one another. Today, I've invited all of you to bring a favorite poem with you to share with one another. I offered the theme of spring because spring this year feels really plodding to me, just like hope does right now. My hope is that by hearing words in all of our different voices, we can witness one another's humanity and joy. In a moment, I'll invite you to come up one at a time to share a poem if you'd like to. Here are a few things to know. Please share the title of the poem and its author, but no other commentary, just letting the poem sit in the space and speak for itself. Please speak quite close to this microphone. If you're taller or shorter, you're going to have to adjust it, and Desiree will help you with that. It's important that all of our voices are heard in this space. Desiree, would you like to come up first?
The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and it wanted wear, though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I marked the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
The Second Coming by W.B. Yeats. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, and the worst are full of passionate intensity. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. When a vast image out of Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight, somewhere in sands of the desert, a shape with lion body and head of a man, a gaze blank and pitiless as the sun, is moving its slow thighs, while all about it red shadows of the indignant desert birds, real shadows of the indignant desert birds. The darkness drops again, but now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches toward Bethlehem to be born?
Daffodils by William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils.
These are a few Rumi quotes about life. Sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment. Why do you stay in prison when the door is so wide open? You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? Only from the heart can you touch the sky.
Hope by Emily Dickinson. Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings a tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it ask a crumb of me.
I have two short poems. Eyesight by A.R. Ammons. It was May before my attention came to spring, and my word, I said to the southern slopes, I've missed it. It came and went before I got right to see it. Don't worry, said the mountain. Try the later northern slopes, or if you can climb into spring. But, said the mountain, it's not that way with all things. Some things that go are gone. More Than Enough by Marge Percy. The first lily of June opens its red mouth all over the sand road where we walk. Multiflora rose climbs trees, cascading white or pink blossoms, simple, intense, the scene drifting like colored mist. The arrowhead is spreading its creamy clumps of flowers, and the blackberries are blooming in the thickets. Season of joy for the bee. The green will never again be so green, so purely and lushly new. Grass lifting its weedy seed heads into the wind. Rich, fresh wine of June, we stagger into you, smeared with pollen, overcome as the turtle laying her eggs in roadside sand.
The Peace of Wild Things by Wendell Berry. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the green heron feeds. I come into peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free.
Desiderata by Max Ehrmann. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all people. Speak truthfully. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even the dull and ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career. However humble, it is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not bind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself, especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all adriety and disenchantment, it is perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture spirit of strength to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe. No less than the trees and the stars, you have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful and strive to be happy.
I have two short ones. The first is What You Missed the Day You Were Absent from Fourth Grade by Brad Aaron Maudlin. Mrs. Nelson explained how to stand still and listen to the wind, how to find meaning in pumping gas, how peeling potatoes can be a form of prayer. She took questions on how not to feel lost in the dark. After lunch, she distributed worksheets that covered ways to remember your grandfather's voice. Then the class discussed falling asleep without feeling like you had forgotten to do something else, something important, and how to believe that the house you wake in is your home. This prompted Mrs. Nelson to draw a chalkboard diagram detailing how to chant the Psalms during cigarette breaks and how not to squirm for sound when your own thoughts are all you hear. Also, that you have enough. The English lesson was that I am is a complete sentence. And just before the afternoon bell, she made the math equation look easy, the one that proves that hundreds of questions and feeling cold and all those nights spent looking for whatever it was that you lost and that one person all add up to something. Okay, sorry, one sec. My second one is by James A. Pearson, and it is called This Spring. How can I love this spring when it's pulling me through my life faster than any time before it? When 5 separate dooms are promised this decade, and here I am, just trying to watch a bumblebee cling to its first purple flower. I cannot save this world, but look how it's trying once again to save me.
This is a poem by Mary Oliver, When I Am Among the Trees. When I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, equally the beech, the oak, and the pines, They give off such a hint of gladness. I would almost say they save me, and daily. I am so distant from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment, and never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me the trees stir in their leaves and call out, "Stay a while." The light flows from the branches, and they call again. It's simple, they say, and you two have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine.
Filling Station by Elizabeth Bishop. Oh, but it's dirty, this little filling station. Oil-soaked, oil-permeated, to a disturbing overall black translucency. Be careful with that match. Father wears a dirty, oil-soaked monkey suit that cuts him under the arms, and several and quick and saucy and greasy sons assist him. It's a family filling station, all quite thoroughly dirty. Do they live in the station? It has a cement porch behind the pumps, and on it a set of crushed and grease-impregnated wicker work. On the wicker sofa is a dirty dog, quite comfy. Some comic books provide the only note of color, of certain color. They lie upon a big, dim doily draping a tabaret, part of the set, beside a big hirsute begonia. Why the extraneous plant? Why the tabaret? Why, oh why the doily? Embroidered in daisy stitch with marguerites, I think, and heavy with gray crochet. Somebody embroidered the doily. Sorry. Somebody waters the plant, or oils it maybe. Somebody arranges the rows of cans so they softly say, "Eso, so." To high-strung automobiles, somebody loves us all.
Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like suns and like suns, just like moons and just like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
Spring by Benna Crawford, haiku. Pale green shoots of grass, bright hyacinths and tulips, soon cherry blossoms.
We have time for about one more poem, if there's anybody who has one to share. Great.
This poem is called The Lake Isle of Innisfree by William Butler Yeats. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of the linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping with the low sounds by the shore. While I stand on the roadway or on the pavement's gray, I hear it in the deep heart's core.
Thank you all so much. I feel like we cast a spell over this space and time was suspended a little bit, which is a feeling I don't get very often in church since I'm usually up here talking. I would like to invite everyone to rise in body or spirit and join our voices one more time for our closing hymn, number 159, This Is My Song. As we go forth from this place, may we go hearing the echoes of one another's voices, one another's hope, the writing that sustains us, the joining in community that is a celebration of hope and possibility. Amen.
Please join me in extinguishing our chalice.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our time of worship has ended, but our time of fellowship begins. If you'd like to join us in the upper parish hall for some snacks and drinks.
Dog.